The following is brought to you by the People's National Party.
Make the trumpets play. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. We can champion, we can do it together. When we look to the future of precipice, we see Jamaica needs the vision of the PNP. People say the bag of promises, them can't carry go shop. And the crime rate getting higher, wonder when it does now comrades. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. We get champion.
The proceeding was brought to you by the People's National Party.
The scale of dealing with anti-corruption issues. So there is a learning curve that we are going through. What is important is that the government supports the development of the institution so it can accelerate very quickly on that learning curve and provide the resources so that they can move very quickly on the learning curve, and that the government does not intervene or interfere. And that message goes to the opposition as well. Leave the anti-corruption and policing agencies to do their jobs. I know why you come to me with that foolishness, you know. You elect a prime minister, and is a prime minister run the country. It is time we learn to hold our leaders accountable for their actions and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses. Otherwise, go elect the people who really run in the country. And I don't want the right kind of stupid argument. Hold the people you elect accountable and stop making excuses for them.
Hello, welcome. Blessed Thursday to everyone in television land. Blessed Thursday to everyone in the chat. Blessed Thursday to all our silent supporters. Thank you as usual so much for tuning in. Please remember, when you come in, thumbs up the live, share us out if you can. And if you're new to the channel, please show some support by subscribing. That would be greatly appreciated. Today's topic is Exposing the Clan with your host, Mystic Sensation, which is Baron and Anne-Marie. And we also have in-house Melting Pot as usual. Guys, continue to keep everyone affected by Hurricane Melissa in your thoughts and prayers, because they're still in dire need. Let me just go ahead and welcome those in the chat. Lavina Miles, Anthony R. 369, Out of Many, One People, Verma Daly, Hurricane Hattie, Lincoln Webb, Bowler, big up yourself, bless up, maximum respect, Patel Cruikshan. Okay, without any delay, I am going to hand over to Baron.
All right. Thank you, honey. Let me just once again, big up to all the persons in the chat, all of our ardent listeners. Bolo, big up yourself. Right, people, remember to endorse Bolo. Bolo is working hard. Right. We have see the Prime Minister came out and he didn't help his administration, right? He rather threw his entire administration underneath the bus. But before we get there, let us have Brother Melting Pot, right? Introduce himself, meet and greet, right? His people as usual. Melting Pot.
Yeah, pleasant afternoon to everyone tuning in this afternoon. It's great to be here again, sharing the space, and hope that everything has been going good so far with you guys in Jamaica. Regardless of the situation, we just have to take things one day at a time, hope for the better each day as it comes along. I just want to also acknowledge the host, Sir Byron, Technical Director, Lady Anne-Marie, and to everyone worldwide tuning in, Let's enjoy the ride and enjoy the show this afternoon. Over to you, Sir Byron.
All right, thank you. Okay, so what we're about to discuss this morning, really and truly, are some serious issues. And what I want to show Jamaica, right? And I don't mind if I have like, professional auditors, right? Who can tune in this morning because I'm going to reveal something significant as to what the Prime Minister exposed that, throw his entire administration under the bus, and something that, right, is very seriously concerning, right, as it relates to what the Prime Minister spoke about. Now, let me say this, Jamaica. The Prime Minister, based on his press conference yesterday and what I deduced from it, the Prime Minister deliberately, I want Jamaica to listen to me. And that's why I said I would mind to have, some professional auditors who can respond to me this morning. The Prime Minister deliberately aimed to deceive the nation relating to the amount of aid that actually processed by ADPEM. The Prime Minister deliberately done that. Right? The Prime Minister doesn't want any checks and balance as it relates to the amount of inventory, right, that goes in to ADPEM. And I have the evidence and I'm going to show it. And that is one of the reasons why I would mind, having, some, professional auditors who might be joining, right, in the conversation this morning, right, in terms of what I'm going to point out. There are two reasons, right, why I came to that conclusion, right? Reason number one, the Prime Minister deliberate tardiness in installing an independent oversight committee, right, so that they can focus on the amount of inventories relating to aid that process through ADPEM. As we speak, the Prime Minister has not done that. The Prime Minister deliberately failed to do that. And the Prime Minister knows that to have an accurate oversight, checks and balance, that is the right thing to do. The Prime Minister knows this. Number two, what we have gotten from the Prime Minister yesterday was even more alarming, right? As it relates to ADPEM not having a robust inventory management system. The Prime Minister admitted that. That was gross to hear that. Now, I am going to build a background to show you how the Prime Minister clan, as it relates to his propagandist machine, set out to defend the Prime Minister as it relates to the changing of ADPEM, putting ADPEM under his responsibility, right, for that purpose, and to control the narrative. Because the Prime Minister deliberately, right, want to deceive the nation as it relates to the recorded amount of items that actually processed in through ADPEM. Now, without any delay, let me just play the first clip for you to show you the background in terms of what we are talking about. And we are going to go over by NNN and show you how Mr. Davis tried to justify what Andrew Holness had done, right, in changing the management of ADPEM and of ADPEM under his office, And the only reason for that, right, is to mislead the Jamaican people. We are going to prove it today with the information. But let us listen to George Davis trying to justify the Prime Minister's action. Let us listen to George Davis. Without any delay, let us go to that clip, right? Let us listen to George Davis in trying to justify the Prime Minister, right, putting ADPEM underneath is.
This morning, I've come to say a little bit about the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ADPEM, and the appointment of Commander Alvin Gale as Director General on secondment from the JDF. The movement of Commander Gale into that position means that the Acting Director General, Richard Thompson, who had acted in a couple stints at least since 2013, he's now back. Well, he's now responsible for other things in the ADPEM. Based on what has been said by senior journalists with line of questioning at the press conference, what has been written, there was a Gleaner editorial, perhaps yesterday or the day before, about ADPEM. There were comments from a distinguished former head of ADPEM, Dr. Barbara Carby, at another place about the decision to switch the leadership of ADPEM at this time. And in what I believe to be unrelated interventions in ADPEM, I don't think it's coordinated any at all. The picture that emerges is, here is a disaster coordination agency that has been doing brilliant work, tested and proven over time, knows what it's doing inside out. And the Prime Minister has not only given it a new head in this time of crisis, but has also removed it from the Ministry of Local Government and put it under the office of the Prime Minister, put it in the office of the Prime Minister, causing people to wonder, well, not even to wonder, causing people to pronounce or to suggest strongly then that the success that the agency has had coordinating disaster relief will now be compromised by these changes. That's the impression that is being given by the interventions about ADPEM in light of the two main decisions the Prime Minister announced. One, the movement of ADPEM from local government ministry to the office of the Prime Minister, and two, the appointment of a permanent Director General of ADPEM. Clearly, even casual observation will show you that the ADPEM they say is now compromised. That's not the ADPEM that has existed over time. The Prime Minister says his decision was motivated by the results, the findings of an audit led by Major General Anthony Anderson, him, the former leader of the JDF, former leader of the JCF, and now our ambassador in Washington, D.C. That played a part in what has happened where ADPEM's place and reporting line is now concerned and where the leader of ADPEM is concerned. I find it incredulous that at a time when we are facing and trying to bring ourselves back from the worst natural disaster in the independent history of this country, and you'd be hard-pressed to find any natural disaster in the history of Jamaica affecting more people. Well, not even a hard-pressed. There's been none that's affected more people than Melissa has. Moves to strengthen and operationalize certain processes and make ODPEM better are being questioned. That I find to be incredulous. But work with the original narrative. And that is of an ODPEM that was doing well, being led well, had experience in these matters. And the Prime Minister has now interfered with it, sufficient for people to wonder if that interference may cause ODPEM to fail in executing its mandate. Fact one, ODPEM has never responded to a Category 5 hurricane before because the country has never faced one before. So this is uncharted territory for all concerned. That alone would have given any sensible government cause to say, okay, what can we do to make our primary disaster relief agency stronger in its job of executing its mandate, given that these are unprecedented matters that we're now asking them to attend to. Any sensible government, just by the fact of the Category 5 Melissa alone, would have given serious thought, if not action, to changes. Okay? But that's not the primary motivation for the change. The primary motivation for the change, we are told, are the findings of that Anthony Anderson-led team. But together with the findings of that Anthony Anderson-led team, that report, I'm certain the government would have been motivated, Tana, listeners, viewers, by a performance management audit that ODPEM performed by the Auditor General's Department, and which was published in December of 2024. Very recent, less than a year ago, there were findings presented about ODPEM. So that is why I am confident that the ODPEM being projected by others who are engaging in the lamentations of Jeremiah over the changes at ODPEM, the picture they are painting is false. I'm not saying that they deliberately painted the picture false. I'm just saying the picture is false. Okay. When the Auditor General conducted that performance management audit at ODPEM, published it in 2024, it found several things. One, ODPEM's strategic and operational plans for the 2020 to 2021, well, for 2020 to 2021 and 2022 to 2023, that period, were not approved by the Board of Management. It says these plans were intended to support its mandate as well as its coordinating role in emergency response and relief operations. Further, the budgets did not fully support the operational plans as capital projects were not included therein. A review of board meeting minutes for the period 2018-19 to 2022-2023 revealed that the board held discussions on ODPEM's plans. However, the approval process for 2020 to 2021, 2022 to 2023 were not concluded as the board cited the need for adjustments and stressed the urgent need for timely submission of key deliverables for which the management team is accountable. The Auditor General also found ODPEM failed to submit to its parent ministry annual reports and audited financial statements for the period 2018-19 to 2022-2023. So for 5 years, the ODPEM that they say is running so well that the Prime Minister ought not to have interfered with it. For 5 years, that ODPEM failed to submit to its parent ministry annual reports and audited financial statements.
Stop. Take him away.
Over that same period.
Stop. Take him away. Okay. Take him away. Now, Mr. Davis, I want you to hold the Prime Minister, right, responsible, just as how you are speaking about the Auditor General findings, right, 2024, as it relates to the performance audit. And I hope you are not conveniently, right, defending the Prime Minister, right, and nitpicking. Now, I am going to pick out one of the items that you have mentioned. that ADPEM failed to submit their 2018 audit, right, to 2023, 2018 to 2023, 5 years. And as such, you are saying that the Prime Minister, based on Anthony Anderson's findings, as according to you, is justified to carry out the action in terms of what he did. Now, okay. So the Prime Minister, all of a sudden, you have made the Prime Minister in an angel. You have made the Prime Minister someone who always obeys the laws. And so then now ADPEM being crucified, right, as a result of what you line out here, the strategic plans, right, that were not approved, right, and failure to submit 2018 to 2023. Now, Mr. Davis, let me argue with you and let me give you evidence. And I want to hear, right, your response to the evidence that I am going to point out to you. If this is the reason, as according to you, right, why the Prime Minister made the changes of ADPEM, I am telling you, those are not the reasons. And I am saying to you, I'm putting it to you, that the reason as to why Andrew Holness, right, change ADPEM, put ADPEM under his responsibility, is to mislead the people of the inventories that going into ADPEM. Now let me prove something to you, because you never remember this. It doesn't seem like you remember this any at all, right? Now, and you're painting Andrew Holness to be an angel. Now, let me show you something, which everyone, the world know. Put up the next document.
Go there.
Yes.
The persons who they said conducted these audits.
Anthony Anderson.
Somebody in JC.
Yes, he was the former commissioner of police.
And then another JCF person. So three, not JDF person, 3 persons who are not educated in disaster management and preparedness.
Exactly.
So how are they conducting an audit on this institution?
Exactly. No.
What qualification do they have?
They don't have any
to do this audit.
No, they
Anthony
don't.
Anderson could not even manage the
Jamaica Constabulary Force,
much less to be conducting audits on ADPEM.
So he has no form of faculty, you understand, that would equip him for him to carry out this audit. So that is the first thing.
I don't understand.
No, that's just foolishness. That's just foolishness. Now, but let us show Mr. Davis something. Right, go to the next document. Go to the next document. Let us show Mr. Davis something here. I am going to show you, Mr. Davis, that what you are coming up with, right, has nothing to do as to why Andrew Holness did what he did in terms of changing up ADPEM and have ADPEM under his control. The only reason why Andrew Holness had done that is to mislead the public as it relates to the amount of inventory that going into ADPEM as it relates to the relief aid that we are going to get, that we are getting, and I'm going to show you with substantial evidence. Now, GLP's desperation tactics won't fool Jamaicans, says PMP. Now look at this. The People's National Party says it rejects the false claims made at the Jamaica Labour Party's press conference at Belmont Road on Thursday regarding its manifesto proposal. Right, their desperate attempt at fear-mongering designed to mislead the public, right, baseless accusation about fiscal irresponsibility is nothing more than political scare tactics. We reiterate, this was not the, hold on, my people. Oh, what a mess. Hold on. Hold on, my Jamaican people. Okay. I'll take that document away. But let me just ask, let me just cancel this, right? I just want to ask Mr. Davis something, right? And I want his opinion on it. So, Mr. Davis, you have accused, right, the ADPEM directors, right, failure to submit 2018-2023. But let me ask you, Mr. Davis, the Prime Minister's statutory declaration, right, have not been certified from 2020, right, from 2021 to as we speak. Here you are putting out an indictment on ADPEM, failing to so-called submit, right, their report from 2018 to 2023. Mr. Davis, have you realized that the Prime Minister statutory declaration for 2021 up to now as we speak cannot be verified, sir? Cannot be verified. But yet you are saying that, okay, the Prime Minister justified in terms of using these so-called failures, right, to shift ADPEM under his responsibility. While the Prime Minister, Mr. Davis, right, cannot explain his wealth. How do you cut that, Mr. Davis? You are holding ADPEM as it relates to audit done by Anthony Anderson, that he has no professional bearing in carrying out these audits. And yet you use his so-called findings, right, to execute your judgment. And at the same time, speaking about failure to submit, right? Now, the Prime Minister statutory declaration, sir, cannot, let me put it to you. It is not that we are waiting to see if the Prime Minister statutory declaration, right, are going to be certified. Based on what I look on, they cannot, they will not able to certify. And the Prime Minister, who cannot explain his illicit enrichment, his so-called discipline ADPEM, as it relates to all of what you are talking about here, you're a disgrace, Mr. Davis. Right? You and others are what bringing down Jamaica. Now, hold on, stand up, Mr. Davis. Let me show you how ADPEM staff is reacting as it relates to the decision making of Andrew Holness. Let us play that on it and show the public. Right? Let us show you what ADPEM staff, and these are professional people, let us show you how the technocrats, what the technocrats are saying. ADPEM staff reportedly demoralized, hurt after Prime Minister comments which they say undervalue their work amid Hurricane Melissa crisis. Just imagine now. The Prime Minister, right, is now tearing down the fabric of these people. Just because what? He wants to mislead the nation as it relates to the accurate amount of inventory as it relates to the relief program going into ADPEM, right? And so then the Prime Minister now rip the veil of credibility just to carry out his stealing mandate. Just to carry out his stealing mandate. Now, staff members at the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management are reportedly demoralized and hurt following comments by the Prime Minister which they believe undervalue their work amid the Hurricane Melissa crisis. The Jamaica Civil Service Association expressed concern about Dr. Andrew Holness' comments regarding the inability to attract top talent and alleged suboptimal performance and ADPEM. Now, just imagine, look who you carry, right, to carry out the audit. Anthony Anderson, Google Gaga. Me never know say Google Gaga top talent. Is Google Gaga top talent? Can you imagine? This is sick. In a statement, the union noted that at time when Jamaica is still reeling from devastation caused by the hurricane, such remarks are deeply unfortunate and disheartening to the thousands of dedicated public officers who have been working tirelessly to restore normality, often under immense personal and professional strain. President Tekla Clark Griffith said the union received numerous expressions of concern and distress from ADPEM staff members who feel aggrieved by the Prime Minister's statement. She said many of them conveyed their disappointment that despite their extraordinary sacrifices and unwavering service during a national crisis, their comment appears to have been undervalued because the Prime Minister just want to do one thing, want to move them out and definitely aim to deceive the Jamaican people, right? And to continue his level of criminality. She noted these same public servants, many of whom have lost their homes and have faced personal hardship, continue to report for duty. Griffith said ADPEM staff continue to serve despite the merger of duties, the strain of limited, why you don't talk about that? Limited resources. And yet, Andrew only said, we were prepared. And here Griffith is saying, Griffith said the ADPEM staff continue to serve, despite the merge of duties, adding more responsibility to their duties. The strain of limited resources. This is what the ADPEM people are reporting. And yet you said you're prepared. You go out there and tell the world that you are prepared. And here is ADPEM. It's saying they have limited resources and the reality of uncompetitive salaries. She said their motivation has not been money, but service to country, a value that must be respected and upheld. The JSSA president said, while the union acknowledges the challenges related to talent retention and compensation from across public sector, it rejects any narrative that diminishes the value of workers of their collective contribution. Take that away. Now, let me show Jamaica what Jamaica has missed. And I am going to definitely just ask the Auditor General some questions. Not accusing, right, anyone. But I'm going to go into this because I want the world to see it. And the questions that I'm going to ask, relevant as it relates to inventory management. The Prime Minister, Jamaica, listen to me. I want you to listen to me, Keely, Jamaica. The Prime Minister at his press conference yesterday had shown the entire administration underneath the bus. The Prime Minister, in terms of what the Prime Minister mentioned on the press conference, is alarming. I'm going to play it for you, and I want you to Jamaica to listen to when Andrew Holness speaks about inventory management with ADPEM. This is very, very serious. And this is evidence. Andrew Holness doesn't realize this. This is evidence that you have given to us that your intentions were merely focused on deceiving Andrew, deceiving the Jamaican people as it relates to the amount of aid that we collected. So listen to this, Jamaican people. If you didn't hear it, let Mystic Sensation point you to what Andrew Warner said. Now, let us go there. Listen keenly, Jamaica.
The purpose of this press briefing is to give some insight into the administrative and organizational management of the disaster. And that is the area that squarely falls in my office, the office of the Prime Minister. You would have noted that we have made certain changes to the government to increase the efficiency of the operations and management of the disaster, one of which would be the reassigning of ODPEM to the office of the Prime Minister. It is not unusual for the disaster management entity to be centrally located in the office of the Prime Minister. Indeed, in previous dispensations, this was the case. The reassignment of ODPEM to OPM, I would say, is not meant to be a permanent assignment. I have enough entities on my plate to deal with. But it is important because the office of the Prime Minister can accelerate coordination and quickly remission entities. And for ODPEM, we had already undertaken a review, and we concluded that there was need for strengthening the mission and increasing its coordinating ability. I'm pleased to report that I have seen improvements in the functioning of ODPEM, and they were tasked to do a few things. One of them would be to strengthen their inventory management system, to put a system in place that delivers real-time information.
All right, stop. Jamaican people, have you heard what the Prime Minister just said? Have you heard, Jamaica, what the Prime Minister has just said? That one of the tasks that ODPEM has is to now put in an inventory management system in ODPEM. Bongarang. Prime Minister, is that what you just said? Let us play you one more time to hear what you said. Let us play it again. We want the people to hear what you said. Right? Play it on. We want the people to hear what you said.
And for ODPEM, we had already undertaken a review, and we concluded that there was need for strengthening the mission and increasing its coordinating ability. I'm pleased to report that I have seen improvements in the functioning of ODPEM, and they were tasked to do a few things. One of them would be to strengthen their inventory management system, to put a system in place that delivers real-time information. They are well down the wicket with that through support from our Information Technology Authority.
Stop it there.
And
let me talk to the people. No, we're going to get back to it. But let us talk to the people for a while. Okay. Let us talk to the people for a while. So, Mr. Holness, all the journalists out there, PSOJ, the Prime Minister had just admitted to us that there is no inventory management system in place and that they are working on it. Okay. Let me just set my glasses good. So, Prime Minister, how many aid, how many inventories relating to aid that ADPEM had already received? How many? What we know that ADPEM had already received tons of items, tons of inventories without having an inventory management system. You have said it loud and clear. So let me ask you this. How ADPEM, right, is recording all the inventories that coming in as a result of the aftermath until yesterday when you speak? How were they recording? What system have they been using? Because number one, you cannot be physically counting the tons of items. You cannot be doing that. So the question is, what system of inventory recording were you using? You don't have a perpetual inventory system. You are now just setting up as according to you. That's what you said. You are now just setting up, right? You are giving them the task to set up an inventory management system because, yes, last week, you know that I came out and I spoke about the PI system that you people need to have. And so then now you're coming out, you are telling us now that you don't have that system in place. So if you don't have that system in place, Prime Minister, you need to come out, right? Do another press conference and explain to us how the inventory is being documented. Because as I am speaking right now, inventories could be stolen right now as we speak. Inventories might be taken out from there, going elsewhere, where it ought not to be. And that is one of the reasons why Mark Bolin told you to set up what? An independent oversight committee task force to monitor these things. And guess what? As we speak, Andrew Wallace, you have not done that. So let me ask, it is Josh Davis need to ask, why have you not set up that? Why you don't want oversight in that? Can you say to us, right, what sort of system are you using to show Jamaica, right, that the aid being received, properly recorded, and properly distributed as it ought to be? You mentioned this out of your mouth is sickening. Let us play some more. Let us play some more. Let us play some more. So tell me, how are you going to get checks and balance? You tell me. Talk.
The objective of that, the end objective of that, is to answer calls and support the whole idea of transparency. So eventually, and when I say eventually, very soon, as soon as the system is up and running, then we will be able to publish for the public to see.
Stop him. Take him away. So let me ask you, the end result of that, as of what you just said, as soon as the system is up and running, right, is to reflect transparency. But, Prime Minister, ADPEM are already processing several inventories that you don't have a system recording how much going out, how much going into ADPEM, and how much coming out. So, Prime Minister, how are you going to tally that where you don't have an inventory management system? Talk to me. Talk to me, Andrew Jones. Andrew Jones, I just want you to talk to me. How are you going to able, right, to give accuracy as it relates to the amount of inventories received by ADPEM and the amount of inventories that will be distributed to the respective areas? And you keep a tally. How are you going to do that? How are you going to do that? You have already handicapped the system. And now, guess what? You put ADPEM right under your responsibility. And guess what? In the meanwhile, you're doing that. You're ensuring you're utilizing delayed tactics because you still have not set up an independent task force, right? That's supposed to really monitor and focus on this. You handicap it. That is what you have done. Now, let me show you. And this is one of the reasons why you have Dean Jackson, right, is asking you these questions. Listen to what Dean Jackson said. Dean Jackson suspected that it is the same hanky-panky you are carrying on with as it relates to, guess what? You are deceiving, you are misleading the Jamaican people. And you don't want to create checks and balance to properly record the appropriate inventory into ADPEM. You don't want, because as we speak, as according to what you said, you don't have a proper inventory management system. You don't. You don't. And then what? You can't ask people to physically count ton loads of items. Come on, Jonas. You know better than this. You know better than this. So how the system is going to be tracked, how the inventories are going to be tracked. How the inventory, you deliberately do this. You deliberately done this. Let me show you. Let me show you what Dean Jackson is saying, so that you understand where Dean Jackson is going. And we should know. But it is your deliberate intention, right, to convert these relief funds, right, to your personal benefits, right? It is your intention. And so then now that is misleading because you don't have, right, a management system, right? You don't have a management system that, right, you can depend on, right? So what are you going to use as it relates to track and trace? What is it you are going to use? Listen to them, and let me talk to your Prime Minister.
Minister, billions of dollars are going to be coming in terms of relief. Why have we not yet heard the announcement of an independent oversight committee to include, for instance, private sector, civil society, and opposition members to monitor the expenditure that is going to be done along with regular reporting to Parliament? What we don't want is an Auditor General's report 6 months after the fact. Second, I've been hearing everything that's been said. However, the national response, the immediate national response, has been slow and inadequate. The government has been acting as if it didn't know the kind of damage that a Cat 5 would have done. Why have we not seen immediate deployments of mass aid to the affected communities, along with things like immediate...
Dean Jackson is on, and Dean Jackson is 100% right. And so let me say to you, Dean Jackson, you are going to have that situation. Dean Jackson, you are going to have that situation where the Auditor General, I don't know how let me just read what the Auditor General is saying here, because I want to ask the Auditor General some questions as well. Right now, I want to ask the Auditor General some questions. Put up what the Auditor General is saying on it. right? Let us show the Jamaican people what the Auditor General is saying, because I want to ask the Auditor General some question. Right? Let us, yes, this is it. Let us hear what the Auditor General is saying here. Because I have a problem with this. Now, this is what the Auditor General is saying in Jamaica. Real-time audit. Auditor General keeps eyes on procurement, record keeping, and IT safeguard to boost accountability in Melissa Recovery Program. Now, the Auditor General's Department is conducting a real-time audit to assess the transparency and accountability of resources received and utilized under the Hurricane Melissa Relief Initiative. I have a problem with this. Take this down on it. I have a problem with this. Because I want to ask the Auditor General something now. The Auditor General, I'm not accusing you any at all, right? As it relates to your proficiency. But the question that I'm going to ask is, how are you, right, going to deal with real-time audit, right, where all the inventories going into ADPEM, they don't have an inventory management system. So tell us, Auditor General, might be you have some ways and means that I don't know about, right, and other Jamaican people don't know about. You need to tell us. You need to come out and explain to us, okay, although ADPEM doesn't have an inventory management system, this is how I am able, you understand, to track and trace all the items being received as it relates to ADPEM. Is that not a reasonable question for me to ask? Because you heard it from the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister had thrown his entire administration underneath the bus. The Prime Minister is saying that ADPEM doesn't have an inventory management system. Then if ADPEM doesn't have an inventory management system, then how ADPEM is going to record all the inventories coming in. Now, look, if any auditors in the chat, you understand, who can at least say something, right? Or anyone can call me who is an auditor, you understand? And just I mean, how can, you know what? Hold on, the people. Let me give, before me bring in Melting Pot, let me see if we can get Rattigan, Brother Rattigan. Let me give Brother Rattigan a show, because we were actually speaking this morning. Let me see if we can bring on Brother Rattigan there. Let me see if we get Brother Rattigan. Brother Rattigan, you're on live.
Give me a second. Maybe I pick up some things. I'll call you back.
All right. Yeah, call me back. All right. Okay, good. Now, I want to know, as it relates to the Auditor General that need to explain, right? Just give some information to the public. Say, okay, all right. ADPEM doesn't have an inventory management system. And so then what we are able to do, there's a recording system as it relates to when things are coming in, right? This being logged and so forth, and we put it into a particular report. And so then, okay, whatever going to ADPEM, right? You can use that report to say, okay, all right, and such date to such and such. You understand? You tabulate a total of such and such, blah, 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 blah. So I am saying to the Auditor General that the Auditor General really need to come out, right, and explain certain things, because really and truly, Andrew Holness handicapped the system already. Andrew Holness already handicapped the system. And what I am saying simply is that many items, many inventories, many of those inventories that gone into ADPEM may have gone somewhere else already. So then, how the Auditor General is going to track that? They don't have an inventory management system where you can look at it, go into the system, right, and do an audit. How are you going to execute that audit? I am just asking the questions, Without any delay, let me just bring in Melting Pot in the space. Melting Pot.
Yeah, the system, as we know, is a failure in Jamaica, and the whole government system in a shambles. And that's why you have things like this happening now. Because I mean, a lot of the agency them were lagging as well, and so everybody was just playing pitter pat. We have to understand that Andrew Wallace did not want any form of checks and balance as it relates to all the gifts them that come to the island for Hurricane Melissa. Andrew Wallace just want to have things under his portfolio and him run it the way how him see it fit for run, and the way where him present is not fit for purpose as we can relate to it right now as we speak. Because nothing has been done to alleviate the people strain and needs, and I mean the things have been given to the government. But just to look at the fact that the man destroyed ADPEM using a guy called Google Gaga, yeah, Major Anthony Anderson, aka Google Gaga, a dunce guy where we know, and everybody knows him a dunce, a guy who can speak, a guy who we know work within the army and brought into public space by this prime minister, placed as commissioner of police, feel miserable as commissioner of police. And so we have to ask the question, if this is how Jamaica has been run by Andrew Wallace, no wonder Jamaica is in the situation that it finds itself.
Exactly.
Because Anthony Gugu Gaga is not a auditor. He's not an accountant. He can't do them type of work. You understand? But this is the guy where Andrew Wallace used to audit ADPEM. And to find him what him come up with, we never know until now. Yeah, so I just know that Andrew Wallace a lie and him use a guy, Draws Davis, to come and, spew the lie in the public eyes. Because Draws Davis not supposed to relate to government matters, Draws Davis work at a supposed to be independent, media house. But Judge Davis is now acting like a government official. So when you merge the two components together, you see corruption rise to the top. And you can't come out and speak on the matter. So I'm put out Draws Davis. And when Draws Davis come out with and I show me why the Prime Minister have to dismantle ADPEN, a bullshit. Bullshit. And the entire population know that. CARICOM know it as well. You understand? Because the agency that is charged with the responsibility and the role of emergency in our country as it relates to disaster should not be decommissioned when you have a category 5. If you want to change it before. There was ample time to change it because Andrew only said Google Gaga carry out the audit from 2024. But here is Andrew Wallace changing ADPEM 2025 November.
Exactly.
So I don't see the logic in that. Yeah, that is confusing to say the least. But we know it's a lie, and Draws Davis come spew the lie. Andrew cook up the lie. Draws Davis come tell the lie for Andrew. Because that's how the country are running, unprofessional. I tell people, say this guy is not prime minister material and him not surplus to requirement. And every day improve my right more. Because under no circumstance can Andrew Wallace, take on the role and responsibility in his office of ADPEM. Because Andrew himself don't have any, knowledge as to what ADPEM should be doing out there. ADPEM is versed to that knowledge. And they are the one who have been doing it from 2013. So that give you over a decade of wealth of experience. I don't know Andrew to be a disaster risk management personnel. So I wouldn't allow Andrew to have anything to do with that. Yeah. And certainly this guy when bring from the army, Alvin Gale, He's not either. You understand? But when you look, you see Rocky Mead. Yeah? You see Major Gugu Gaga Anderson. I know you see Alvin Gill. And it show you where Andrew go with the country. This plain and simple, it's down the road of dictatorship. It's a military style administration, Andrew. I run. I will see it with other aspects in a society. The type of uniform with the police them are wear. Even the soldier them for them uniform change up. So Andrew change everything for suit for him policy, but Andrew policy is wrong. Radically wrong. And this is why the country find itself now, in a limbo. Yet because Andrew, rather than being proactive, Andrew always is reacting to all the comments that him hear from social media. He's not
Exactly.
leading from the front because Andrew is not a leader. Andrew is not a leader. Andrew is just a guy who just go out and tell a bag of lie and gain people interest through some form of narrative. Him lie them when him tell. You become realize the people him like them type of politics there. So at that him give anywhere him go. Now we have to ask Andrew Holness, if you say that ADPEM was underperforming because they weren't complying with, auditing report from 2018 to 2023. Okay? And you wanted a more stringent accountability of that agency. But here is it now. You take it over and you don't have an inventory system in place either.
He melting pot. Think of it. Eh? He's talking
Yeah,
about to make ADPEM more stringent. And he took it over.
exactly.
And there is no inventory management system. It's
No
sick.
inventory management system in place. Yeah. Right now, if you ask Andrew as to what the amount of tons that come in on the island, him can't tell you. Him probably even can't tell you who are the donors. Him don't have nothing. Because Andrew don't really want to have anything where checks and balance is concerned with all the gifts that coming into the island. No. Because we know what Andrew motive is when it come on to these type of events. Andrew like to take control and use it for his own political gain. Yeah. And for members from within this party. So we know the political spectrum they are playing right now. This is why everything is running way behind schedule. This is why I've seen videos still, being posted where, our people in Jamaica are crying, the everlasting cry of help. Help.
Yes.
Not for themselves, but for them kids. You look at that baby mother and the video that she put out there, she literally are rolling on the ground basically, in the dirt. Because she need help, she and her two kids.
Yes.
And Andrew Wallace have the thing them stuck up around him, yeah, and fail to distribute them to the people who them come for. Because them never come for Andrew, Them never come for the government of Jamaica, them come for the people. Them never even come for the party JLP. So more and Andrew Wallace. This is not a party donation. This is a nation that is in crisis and outside entity donate to the people of the country. And, this is why Marky G called for an independent oversight committee. That would now, give assertive checks and balance.
Yes.
Yeah. Rather than we now have to go to this guy who cannot be trusted. Yeah. A guy who has not been certified from 1998. From 1998, Andrew cannot be certified, 27 years and counting. But him now want have checks and balance for ADPEM.
It's
No,
crazy.
Andrew Wallace, you are not the man for that. I am telling you, you are not the man for that. And there are many more ministries that you're supposed to have checks and balance pan. And you don't have it. Yeah. The ministry with us in charge of telecommunication and transport. That need proper auditing. that need auditing from outside of Jamaica to uncover the truth
But
and the
Melting Pot,
devastation and the robbery. Yes,
Melting
Mr.
Pot, let me say something to you now. All right. You, Melting Pot, is the manufacturer, right?
Yeah,
I am a retail company, right? I am going to purchase some things from you. So I am going to set up a purchase order, right? As it relates to all the items that I want, right? You now
yeah,
receive that as the manufacturer. You're going to deliver the items and invoice. Now, so it go. Now,
definitely.
when it reach my company, right? I am going to receive it into my system, right? So then everything that I order on my purchase order, you understand, I'm going to use the purchase order and match up with the invoice in terms of what you're going to deliver to me. So if me order
Definitely.
10 milk, you understand, 20 sardine and so forth, me going to see on your invoice that you are delivered to me 10 milk, 20 sardine and so forth. Now what I'm going to know, I am going to now put it into my inventory management system. You understand? So it is going to be recording there. So now
Yeah,
that perpetual inventory that I am creating, when I sell one item, the system is automatically is going to delete that particular item. You understand? And give me, my real shelf count. So my shelf
definitely.
count, so if we sell one item, one tin of milk from the 20, you understand? When I sell it, you understand? The perpetual inventory will reduce me to 19. You understand? So
True.
19 on shelf, you understand? And sales 1, right? Now, you don't have the system there. You don't have the system there set up as it relates to AdPem. Now, in this case, now you have a lot of donors, right? Giving you all these tons of items. And what you are doing, you're only receiving them. You're just receiving them. And then guess what? You have nothing to put into a record, into a PI system. You have nothing like that. You have nothing like that, Andrew Honest. And then now you're going to say, you understand? You're trying to set up a system when you already received tons of items. This is bullshit. This is madness. This is crazy. So then you're saying that Andrew Honest, you need to wheel and come again. And then the thing that I don't like, Melting Pot, people are there listening to Andrew Honest and make Andrew Honest get away with that.
You shouldn't be get away with these type of practices, because these are practices that we call malpracticing. You understand? So you shouldn't be getting away with this. Because you have to have checks and balances almost 1 month now. 3 weeks and counting. You understand? I know him cannot put the numbers together anymore, So Andrew just make sure no say him already corrupt the system so there cannot be any checks and balance. And this is what Andrew wants, because this guy run the country like that. Now we have to look at how the system in Jamaica has been. And we've been talking about it for a mighty long time, Mystic. Yeah? Because we know everything now run as how it's supposed to run. Yeah, management, lacking and non-existent in most administrators and agencies. Yeah, and you see people just do things willy-nilly. And remember, you have never seen or heard Andrew Wallace come out and remonstrate towards bad practice within the government. Yeah, so why run out now for AdPem? This is the first that I've seen Andrew Wallace, come out and denounce and demoralize a workforce to the extent where the people them get angry. You understand? The union that represent them is voicing the workers' disgruntlement at Andrew Wallace behavior and how him just publicly denounce them to be failure. And I sure know the people them weren't failing, like most of the ministry and the film portfolio. You understand? So we know that this is a system where Andrew did want in I'm on from long time. Because remember, ACPEN, if they were in charge, the insurance ban, the catastrophe ban would have come to ADPEN, ADPEN would have managed that, would have known about it. And them would have been in charge of this money to distribute it and go there, even though it come to the government. But the government wouldn't have nothing to do with that in terms of distributing it. Yeah. ADPEN is the agency charged with distributing that. The government official them make them procurement and our government prime minister. And then ADPEN now that deal with it. Andrew don't want that. Because Andrew want to have everything cemented around him. Where him a play Dandishan the all type of game. You understand? And a victimize both member of parliament and people from the other side of the fence. Because Andrew don't want to utilize the money for its intended purpose. Andrew run the country dry by using the money and splash it all over the general election. So this is an opportunity for Andrew kind of recoup back some of them expense there. But Andrew can't recoup donation. You cannot. Because the people them who send the donation and the country them who give you the money, them want to see say, well then the work are done with them donation. Yeah. Them want to see that. And so far you haven't commenced any work. You're well behind. So nobody not even have no interest now for you know, you notice how it's scaled down in terms of country now pledge nothing to Jamaica. Because them see where I go on.
Exactly.
So them now go pledge no money to the country now, you know. That's why you see him have Matthew, Dranko Jacket, Samuda, a plea to wealthy country now for chipping. No. And them a blame it upon first world country and carbon emission and all these things. I said, well, then because of for them CEO of Mission, why, you know, hurricane are so devastating. No. The entire world have the problem. Yeah. When Texas and Louisiana did have for them hurricane, you never hear them blame it for other country. Them could have blame it for China and India.
Yes.
And other big developing country. But them never do it. So Andrew Wallace them now are beg. That's why Andrew will tight on the money, you know. I don't know if my wait to get some more than him start work. But him foolish. Well, should I don't know start work with the money I make outside country sick. Because them have satellite are watching. And him should I know that. Them sister not done. The same way all the place stay from the day after Melissa blow. Them still have see the imagery same way. And them ask themselves, so then this man get so much help from outside source. And the place stay same way basically. And them hear the video. I remember them still have people on the ground. You understand? So Andrew cannot get away from this dilemma where he find himself in. And it's because of mismanagement over a 10-year period when in power as prime minister. He run the country right down to a wreck. And him find himself now handcuffed basically. Yeah, him don't know if to do with the money, you know. I want to ask Andrew Wam to the net reserve when him talk about what happened to that. Because it don't look like him have nothing in there. Look like him clean out the net reserve. So Andrew himself need auditing again as to the country net reserve. Him need auditing and ADPEM need auditing. And the fact of the matter, the man use a guy that is not an auditor for audit ADPEM. Sure you say a bogus thing you want to carry out.
Exactly.
A bogus thing. You cannot, you know, bring a man when I have no experience in the fields of auditing to audit a sensitive agents like ADPEM. I mean, Google Gaga can't speak to save him life, you know. Yeah.
He has no inventory management skill. He has no inventory management skill.
I'm here with Google Gaga through Andrew under the bus now. Remember, we know 21 gun salute, you know. You understand? As something where we use in our country. So a 3 round a 7. Remember, Google Gaga fire 3 round a 13, you know, and change it from 21 to 39. So it's a guy just like the Portland mayor. You understand? Where numbers are concerned, he's not adverse with numbers.
And him go run audit pan ADPEM.
And him Anderson go run audit pan ADPEM. So it will show you how, you know, fragile Andrew Brain is. Andrew Brain coming like a baby. It not develop to run the country. Him brain fragile. Of all the person you could have draft up a audit act pen, it's Google Gaga. Come on, man. This is absurd, unbelievable. This is a mockery. This is a mockery of Andrew Wallace administration and him himself. When you go for a guy like Google Gaga, who the entire world know can't speak to save him life, and you charge him with the responsibility of auditing ADPEM, then it beggars to believe this guy Andrew Wallace status and mindset. Andrew mind and him brain fragile. It not developed yet. And people, I have to use the term once again. Andrew Wallace is not prime minister material and he's not surplus to requirement for run the country. Because I want to see what him do now. We are telling a long time. Google Gaga cannot utilize numbers in its format. We know you fire 3 rounds at 7 to get 21. Google Gaga fire 3 rounds at 13 and say a gun salute. The first in a history that happened anywhere in the world.
All right.
So you know a lunatic. Yeah, man. How would that Ratty a call?
Yes, a Ratty a call back.
Link him up.
Yes, brother Ratty. All right. Yeah. Are you hearing me loud and clear, Ratty? All right. You're live on the program. I just want to ask you a question, right? If you have a system that doesn't have an inventory management system, and that system is receiving tons of inventory, how is that system is going to record those inventories as it relates to inventories going in and inventories going out?
If you have something like that and you don't have an inventory system, what you have is you're setting yourself up for pilfering. You're setting yourself up for you're making it attractive for employees to steal, because they know that you don't have a system detailing what's coming in, and if you don't have that, then you don't know what's going out.
Exactly.
And so it's a free for all. It's a free for all. You can't just steal at will, and nobody's watching the store. And yeah, so it's nonsense. If you're gonna have any kind of an operation where you're receiving, well, I think I know what you're referring to. The
ADPEM.
The aid coming, the relief assistance coming in.
Yes.
If you don't have something like this, should have been set up a long time ago.
There you go.
Should have this. Yeah, should have this in place long time. So right now, the things that have come in already, if you don't have the system, we don't even, if there's no system right now to determine what's coming in, what's going out, then the things that we have received already, where are they?
Okay, so the question that I want to ask, Brother Ratty, how is the Auditor General is going to audit that?
Well, I'm not saying it's impossible to audit, but I'm just saying it's going to be very difficult. What she'll have to do is, she'll now have to go back to all of the donors, all of the people said they donated things to Jamaica, and and you probably won't get a complete list, but she'll have to go back and look at social media, regular media, and say, one who sends stuff in, and then start from there. But it's not gonna be an accurate count, because not everything that came in is documented by the media. So she'd have to go back to the same people who didn't set up the system in the first place and ask them what came in. And you can just imagine the situation, right? Why would they tell her what came in when them thief out the things? They wouldn't tell her.
Mighty goodness.
Makes no sense.
Mighty goodness. All right, Brother Ratty. You're up on the road. I'm not take up much of your time. Just thank you for the input. Bless up yourself, my brother.
All right. Likewise, the brethren.
All right.
Big up yourself. Big up all and support ourselves.
Yes,
We'll
blessing.
talk soon.
All right.
All right, brethren.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Yes, Melting Pot. Bolo, as soon as Melting Pot finish, give us a call. Yes, Melting Pot.
Yeah, man, I'm right what I'm saying now. Yeah. The problem with Andrew only is present right now. Nothing can add it again. Because, you know, the mechanism that would present itself is too much problem and too tedious for you access all what coming out of the country from the donors them. I mean, you know, it's bad. Because if you know that you're going, you must know because you say Google Gaga, you know, done the auditing and you get it from when? More than a year. Yeah. Then you must have contingency plan in place as it relates to since you got, you know, move AdPen into your office or you got change the management side of AdPen. You must have your inventory system set up because AdPen will always be receiving things in a crisis time like now. So that system should have been in place,
All right.
ready to go.
Hold on a Melting Pot. We could hear a little thing or two from Bolo before we finish. Let me just.
Yeah, man, make Bolo come in.
All right, my General Bolo. Yes, go ahead.
Honors and respect. Big up Melting Pot. And
Big up, my brother.
All right.
Whatever is an excellent point in regards to this audit from this former commissioner of police.
Yes.
I mean, is he even qualified? That needs to be answered.
He's not.
Secondly, when was the audit done? The audit was done last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, 2024.
All right. The other point when Miss Melting Pot made is that they must say, well, you know, the emissions, them and stuff like that. Well, they have been talking about climate change for quite some time. So, what was the preparation by the government? What were they waiting on to prepare for the same thing that they was warning us about it for years?
Very good question, you know, Bolo. But you have to also remember that under Andrew Ones, right, governance, he had experienced roughly about 3 to 4 systems. So how is the preparation going forward after, you know, experiencing the first system?
But we must also remember
Well,
that he
that's
is
the
the
next
poster
argument that
child
they're
for
making,
climate
that,
change in the
we
Caribbean.
can't prepare for a category 1 or category 5 star. It's nonsense.
Nonsense.
The ODPEM have 45 years of experience and them have muscle memory in dealing with other storms before.
Yes.
So why would you at the last moment change the system and move them into your office? They have been operating outside their office before. That, I mean, you're supposed to do that from last year, from burial. You're supposed to see the inconsistencies and make your plan and change up things. What is this or come up business? So this argument where Charles Davis and make a nonsense.
Nonsense.
Because if them really was about preparation and making it more efficient as they were speaking, they would have done it from last year.
But Bolo, look at this now. Look at this. Why move out the technocrat from out of AdPen, put the technocrat in your office, and now upscale the army person as the director of AdPen, and then now asking him, you understand, to anticipate strategical policies from the person who you move out of AdPen. Oh, that makes sense.
Basically, the man who have the experience and the man who them put up, you got to tell him for training.
Exactly. That's it.
I think that this man is, as Melting Pot said, this man is not even qualified to be a prime minister or a leader, brother.
Always putting square pegs in round holes, or trying to put square pegs in
Exactly.
round holes.
Exactly.
All right.
Pure nonsense. Jamaica win a trouble. That's all I can tell you now.
Exactly. As my wife said, always putting square pegs in the round hole. That is crazy. That is crazy.
He's a backward king working, but today I listen. Big up on yourself.
Blessing yourself. All right, cool.
Them brain look a bit cause them when I put people to sleep with them conference all long, just a talk long on them something there. I mean I tell you say, it don't make no sense, brother.
All right.
Big up on yourself.
Bless up yourself, Bolo.
But let me make the point again. As
All
the
right.
poster child for climate change in the Caribbean, and this is how he's managing
Mm.
this disaster
Crazy.
that has come upon us.
All right, Melting Pot, finish up. Go ahead, Melting Pot.
Well, I mean, you know, everybody knows that Andrew Wallace a failure. The entire CARICOM, the entire world, and now Jamaica can realize for themselves. So we now have to move with a concerted effort for oust this guy out of the hot seat of a prime minister. Him not ready, you understand? And this guy, him only desire is to destroy Jamaica. Yeah, Andrew Wallace's only purpose right now in the government is to finally destroy Jamaica. Because the guy don't like Jamaica and Jamaicans. Look where mangle the people them. The guy find himself all a football match. And one thing I want to bring to the people them attention, me have wrap up shortly. But the fact say, yeah, the two managers, you know, will come up against each other in the stadium. A two English manager, Steve McLaren and Dick Advocate. You understand? But Dick Advocate from Curacao, him have some family emergency and him leave the team as the manager and go attend to him family issue. Yeah, my assistant, them run the show. But Andrew have a nation, yeah, with emergency crisis and need. And Andrew and the whole entourage cock up in a stadium. Yeah. Cock up in a stadium and bring one saltness around the reggae boys. One big load of chuck load of salt him come drop on the reggae boys. Kind of way Andrew go him salt up the place, you know. Because the spirit of God now move with Andrew. Remember, Andrew is a devil in himself, you understand? And so anything where Andrew hold this touch are go near, it bound to fail. Yeah? And this is why we have said to our people now it's time for change. I yield back the floor.
All right, blessing. All right, let us get into some deeper concern in terms of just wanting to understand Andrew Wallace's mentality as it relates to right how much that he shows. He's showing that he cares for Jamaican people. Now listen to this, people. Just imagine that Andrew Wallace had flown over ground zero. Let us remind our Jamaican people, right? Let us look and see for yourself Andrew Wallace himself flying over ground zero and making certain observations. Let's look at this, people. Look at this. This is Andrew Wallace flying over ground zero. All right, take it away on it because I think the people get it in terms of what I'm going to the points I'm going to make with that video. Someone would believe that okay, all right, the Prime Minister, right, had flown over ground zero. Nothing wrong with that. The Prime Minister want to make an assessment of the total damage. And the Prime Minister had observed that, okay, all right, things really looking bad. It is terrible, right? Ground zero, the entire pathway of Melissa, right? Terrible, right? From St. Elizabeth landfall to the exit point as it relates to St. James and Trelawney, as it relates to the pathway. Totally, the total destruction. But look, people, what the Prime Minister had done. After seeing all of that, observe all of that, and realize, the suffrage that the people are going through. Look at how the Prime Minister showing Jamaica that he cares. Look at this. Play the next. Look at this in terms of how the Prime Minister is showing Jamaica how he cares. Let us look at that.
Across the island, our first priority has been to deliver food, water, and medical support to every affected community. But we know that beyond these essentials, the greatest need is now shelter. Too many of our brothers and sisters have lost the very roofs over their heads. To address this urgent need, I am announcing a building support program for households in the most affected parishes as follows, and this will be an MP-driven program again. St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Manchester, Hanover, St. James, Trelawney. $10 million will be allocated to each constituency in those parishes.
Take him away. Take him away.
There was a
Monkey
debate
government.
in this house.
This is what you call monkey government. Now, monkey government this. Now, as it relates to that, right? Here the Prime Minister again, in terms of saying that we must be responsible. Right? Here the Prime Minister. I want Jamaica to see where I'm going with this. That we must be responsible.
While the needs across our nation are indeed great, we must also remain judicious and disciplined in the use of public funds. So, Leader of the Opposition, I couldn't give $50 million just so, because, Madam Speaker, we have the bill coming from health. We have the bill coming for cleaning. We have the bill coming for schools. We have the bills coming for JDF and
Take him away.
JCF.
Take away the monkey government.
We have the bill coming for agriculture.
Take away the monkey government. The monkey government said, we have to be responsible for the public funds. And what he said is true, because the government has to be responsible for the government funds. But let us show if the monkey government really meant what he said. So we are going to play the next clip, because the monkey government said, we have to be disciplined, right, as it relates to spending and be responsible in spending the public funds. Now look at this now, people. Look at it. Let us look how responsible Andrew Wallace is. Now, Andrew Wallace had flown over the pathway of Melissa, seeing, the graphic destruction. The graphic destruction. And Andrew Wallace is saying that him can't just take out $50 million and just give so. At $10 million them deserve to get. Now come Andrew Wallace, come look at this. We want you to explain how responsible, right, were you and where your priorities lies. TPD breaks down 17 million cars for Mobile welcome sign. Andrew Wallace is a sign, this is a welcome sign, this and you see how much money you spend? $17 million. This is no disaster, in terms of house that you are building. This is a welcome sign. Let me get into the detail. St. James Jamaica, the Tourism Product Development Company Limited, has sought to justify the recently commissioned Montego Bay welcome sign, estimated to cost 17 million Jamaican dollars. The agency, in a statement today, outlined that the cost includes a dual base facing the east and west, estimated at $8 million. Just for the two facing, Lettering for $3 million, people. Let me break it down. Let me break it down, no people. Lettering for $3 million. So then the lettering, they're expensive. Electric work for $2 million, for signing. Irrigation for $1 million, and a contingency sum of $3 million. Take this away, mighty God. And when you see that you have flown over ground zero and see the destruction at ground zero, but you're talking about, yes, you have to manage the funds carefully. So what about the sign that you only pay, $17 million for? But the sign of one thing, Jamaica. Let me go a little bit further. Right? The sign of one thing. Let me go a little further and tickle a little nerve. Because you notice something? The press conference that they are going forward now, because through we talk about the things now with Darrell Vaz, right, and the security issue at the Norman Manley Airport, right? It seems like now them put him on the back burner. And them also put Desmond McKenzie, right, on the back burner, because it's a sexy molest Desmond McKenzie, right? He might double down. You understand? We shot him not supposed to double down with the foolishness and lie. Speaking about the shelters and so forth. And obviously, you understand, even although it depends on social media, him so dunce that him not even realize these things on social media. You can't lie about certain things. But I mean, the level of dunceness, him can't really figure through that, You understand? Because him just daft than the rest. But look at this now, people. Let us get to the next thing. Sheeta? Right? Look at this. Right? Look at this, people. In terms of this situation. Now look. There's a hole in the bucket. And a hole in the bucket of one big old dirty tear. One big old dirty tear in a taxpayer's pocket. Big old dirty tear. Now, look at this. Regardless of our politics or political inclination, there's a fundamental truth about public policy formulation, decision-making, funding, and implementation that we can all subscribe to. Public policies must not only appear to be thoroughly thought through, but implementation must also be equitable, safe, and dispassionate. Right? Now, public policy decision and execution should not seek to let the perfect, right, be the enemy of the good. At bare minimum, they should solve problems effectively and efficiently. Sometimes public policy solutions do not require invention, but simply innovation. Now, at the core, public policy seeks to address societal issues, right, and achieve specific goals for the greater good according to public policy development. Let me just take this away. Now, according to Vaz, 110 buses will facilitate the phased rollout of the system, which will cover 100 routes and 258 of the island's more than 850 rural schools, impacting 328,000 students. Mathematics aside, whether 110 bus was maximum consolidated seating capacity of 4,800 can transport 328,000 children daily is a matter for future deliberations. The lie that these people told to steal taxpayers' money, like Darrell Vars. Now, Darrell Vars, take this away. Using $1.4 billion to purchase 110 buses. No, my correction. Not 110 buses. People, 60 buses. Because the 50 remaining buses, right, that are now, as we speak, cannot surface on the island. So when you look at it, based on what being approved to purchase these buses, $1.4 billion for 60 all school buses. But let me say what Andrew Warnes had said. That he has to be careful, right, in spending taxpayers' money. So then, Andrew Warnes, is this a careful, thought-through process of you signing off on Darrell Vars to purchase 60 school buses for $1.4 billion? And I am not saying 110 school buses, because 60 we have and the money paid out already. So, Andrew Warnes, is this a thoughtful process that you're being mindful in protecting taxpayers' money and make sure that you are being effective to have true value for the money being spent? Do you believe, Andrew Warnes, that the essence of true value for money was being utilized as it relates to $1.4 billion for 60 old school buses that right now is in dilemma? They are in dilemma. And where that $1.4 billion could have bought 100 brand new coaster buses up and running. Let me bring in Melting Pot in the space. Brother Melting Pot, come in on this.
Yeah, every time we talk about this $1.4 billion, you know, boy, I tell you, it just make me feel a way in myself, you know, for no say me not have no authority for just lock up Darrell Vars and Andrew Warnes for this 1.4. Because this $1.4 billion not go through no farmer procurement guideline, you know. It's like it's an emergency fund. I saw them draw down this money, you know. Because the relevant people them not sign off on this money. You understand? And you can't take $1.4 billion taxpayers' money as emergency relief fund to buy all bus. Yeah? And the fact of the matter, these buses were for very little. But me could go into the intricacy now as it relates to, you know, the source of information where they have put out in the first phase when the corruption break. We hear say Elijah, yeah, have the contract with the manufacturer. You understand?
Yes.
But in other case there, we're not buying a new bus. So how Elijah would have the contract to import the vehicle on behalf of the manufacturer? Because where was the manufacturer? We're not buying it from the manufacturer. We are buying these buses that they decommission, that they set aside to destroy, to get rid of. Yeah? And these buses were in the ownership of the United States Transport Authority, basically, who are run the school bus system. So the word manufacturer where Elijah linked to manufacturer. That not the panic card, Byron.
No.
Because a new bus we are buying. But them feels it like a new bus. That's why we know a criminal activity carry out between Andrew and
Exactly.
Pumbaz.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's why they talk about Elijah. Yeah. linked to the manufacturer. Yeah, as a guy for import the bus on behalf of the manufacturer. Lie. Manufacturer build new buses. Our old bus them have 10-year-old and upward were done out. Decommissioned bus. So we know everything with them cook up this a lie. Yeah. That's why Danville Scrappy Walker distance himself from it, you know.
Exactly.
You understand? Because I realize say him did in a shit pit already with public funds. You understand? Because remember, you know, this party, I know the first them do this thing, you know. Agintai, yeah, they have the responsibility for bringing used car for the police them. All know 30 still outstanding. All know my people, 30 cars still outstanding. And you notice them just drown that in the water. Nobody no go to prison for these things, you know. Nobody no lose them job. People get a razor pay. Enormous razor pay. But them thing are upon them resume. You understand how them steal the country money? Agintai do it. Yeah. Pumvas come do it. Him and Andrew. This is not just Pumvas alone. This is Pumvas and Andrew Holness doing this 1.4 billion. And my people, them just use the old school bus them as a poster. Yeah. The money was taken to run the general election. A little bit them spent on the buses them. If you notice, yeah, Pumba say 110 bus. A 60 come, 50 outstanding, I know it can't come. Me seen a one report where I say, you know, November 2025, another 100 and must 50 new bus. Pumba just sick in a head, man. Rub out the word new, man. All bus them here. All bus them here you bring coming at the place. And corruption surround this whole fiasco where your Andrew Holness carry out. Yeah. Because unala incriminate all people from overseas, you know. Right now you can't show we no invoice. Yeah. And you can't show we no purchasing order. Yeah. And them two ingredients there would have give clarity on the buses. But you notice them documents that never make available. And all who you know, get involved in this, them distant themselves. We know so Elijah is a place now we deal with chemical and them thing there. You understand? Them not deal, them not have the manufacture, them not have the license for import buses and them thing there. Them as a company, them have them license like maybe 5 or 6 vehicles for them own use. But in terms of on the scale of we are talking about 110 buses, Elijah couldn't do that. You understand? And this is why it never tendered for nobody else. Yeah. So we want to dig deep now into who Elijah them really is now. We have to find out that. We link them up to Vaz or Andrew. Yeah, because anytime them incriminate certain players, you know, you have to watch out for them players in the space of the corruption. But we know a live Vaz and Andrew tell. But we know Andrew involved in this stick up to him neck. Because Andrew make mention of these buses in the parliament. He make mention. But I never know you buy new buses and you have to reconfigure them when you come. You have to change all the tire. You have to do a lot of things. We see that the bus them inside of them all and rusty, all the driver seat tear up. But a new bus. So we are showing the type of government we have and the administration that is in charge of running the country's affairs. It's a lying administration, a con administration, a thieving administration, and a corrupt administration. And the Prime Minister is at the center of all of these allegations. Him involved in a tick up to him neck. And him will call the shots, you know. All of the shots them where you see a go on, Andrew call all of the shots them. Pumpers and them guys that just do on behalf of Andrew Holness. All of who you see incriminated. Read everybody. Them work on behalf of Andrew. That's why you see him government is tainted with all these type of corruption allegation of theft. You understand? Them guys cannot be trusted. Andrew must go. Andrew must go ASAP. And my people have only charged with that responsibility to move the shit here from out of the politics arena. Him for go now him do too much. And him lie. And when I tell a lie, them, you know, tell them, you know, dry eye lie, I'm telling you.
Yeah, wicked man.
Dry eye, a wicked man. It's a guy just look on you and just tell you the lie, so you know. And no matter who, then at the space, you know, him just tell the lie, you know. If not no regard for nobody, him insult everybody intelligence. But we know him can't insult our intelligence around us, so no mistake.
Exactly.
Because we don't mix up with shit house like Andrew Wallace. Yeah, and we have a call a spade. And me I said to my Jamaican people, you see, if only that man angle Andrew Wallace attitude from long time and push back on them, him wouldn't have rain over uno. But uno give him too much leverage. And him corruption take root now till him all that dismantle all the agency them as them feel like bring in some army man them. Because them they are yes man them, you know. Army man them are yes man. Them carry out command. Them take instruction and carry out command. Them are yes man. That's why you see him draw for Lampile, Rocky Mead. Him draw for this guy Alvin Gale. And him draw for the old Duns Google Gaga. Where my use a carry out all the thing for ad pen. You know, say Andrew administration in a shit pit. Andrew administration is in tatters and ruins. It's a garbage administration this guy around. And Jamaica, if we're not careful, this guy will sink further than Yeti. So we have to move him like no.
That's no joke.
Him not ready for the job. You understand? The man bring shame and disgrace on Jamaica in our time of crisis. Yeah? Because the media personnel upon the ground, you know the man behavior, call them here from the people. There were many people crying out not to give Andrew Wallace a dime. Not to give him a dime because they won't get it. You have people from Maryland not get nothing all now, you know. And see Melissa come compound matters worse. Yes. Yeah. And what Andrew do, yeah, it's going at the people in constituency, a state politics game. Yeah, and that we see him do, you know. Because we see him send all size 13, you know. Down in a just constituency, you know. In a St. Elizabeth, you know. A politics, she go down to go play with you. Politics, she not supposed to do that, so go up a fair place, mash up. She's supposed to up a fair place. She not a spokeswoman for down there, so. But Andrew play politics with the whole eventuality. And Melissa, I must say the people that mash up and out there need help. People need roof over them head. You might talk about to get the economy up and running. Yeah? You can't get the economy up and running. All when you say you're clear. Because we a guy come out and say them clear 90 road, you know. 90% of the road. Yeah? 90% of the road. You understand? A big mouth Delano see right, I said this, you know. Big mouth Delano see right. But when you look, the road them still full of mud. So if you move the tree, them will block the road. Remember the whole place have to clean up. Yeah? Because nobody can live in that to go to work. Exactly. Them have to go through that, them mud they go to work. And remember the mud them stink and sour. And it got an epidemic now in the place. So no matter where Andrew do, Andrew work back way. Yeah? Let me tell him I work back way. Because Andrew no builder, you know, so him no know nothing about foundation, you know. Him no know nothing about foundation.
Melting pot correction. Remember, sir, him build him stone wall.
Well, that's a lie. That's a lie, mistake. In our dreams.
That's what him says, sir.
Because if a man I do stone wall work, you know, remember you'd have to learn that skill then. You can't just get up and chop stone, so you know. Yeah. We know that work there. You understand? And then Andrew and no show no semblance same a chop stone. Yeah? The only thing Andrew and them move is paper money. I'm not dealing with silver. Paper money, so man, smooth. Andrew can't work. Then which man now, as a man with cut stone and a woman where him there with box him down regular. Stone cutter, them thing they have to stone cutter. Stone cutter and tough. Size 13 wouldn't want one of that. So make Andrew go away, man. Andrew no know nothing about building. That's why I'm at the country. in the situation where there. That's why I don't know how to work toward restoring the country. Yeah, restoring the community them. Give back the people them a hope to move forward. Because the first thing, you have to clear the blockage of the road. Yeah. You have to do a restoration of the cleaning up of the road. You can't have mud same way because you lift up some little thing, some debris and some tree and you straighten up some light post. No, and I said go. You have to start get rid of them standing water. They have to bring in some generator and some pump and get people for work, get the army for work, to cut some trench, to lead them water there to some gully where you can carry it go where it for go. You know, do not like that. Yeah, you know have the trucker going now to clear 90% of the road. We not see no convoy a trucker leave from Kingston with the goods them are going to the place, We don't see that. So we know the guy operate under a Bandulu scheme. With the whole of the thing them there down in the warehouse, them down at Tivoli. All about 9 friend them warehouse. You know, you say I look private sector warehouse now for store things. Cause I have so much, so I tell the people them say, hold off on it, man. Hold off on time, you not say nothing, send it to some charitable organization, man. You understand? You can't get a government or nothing. Cause remember right now, yeah, the thing them are coming free. And me are gonna tell you something. You sit down at the wharf them and the airport, I feed them people that they work. And politics put people in a job in a Jamaica. Majority of who they are airport are work a labor right. And down on the waterfront, them a labor right a wharf. The whole of them are teach the thing right now, because them know so no checks and balance no there. Yeah? Them are stealing the people things them at all costs. Them going at the people them barrel and ravish it like I feel them own like it come to them. Them not no art because the government will lead them, where them support don't have no art. Them operate just like Andrew Wallace and them support as them, And me I tell us no comrade no they are airport a thief nothing, I labor right out there thief the things them. And them wharf and them same way. Yeah, Newport East, Newport West, and them can it facilitate and they close to them. And member government, official member of parliament, give people job. So what you see a go on is just a testimony of the government and the leadership of the country. Yeah. And minions them who affiliate themselves know say it's a chopper government. So anyway them there are working. Yeah, them party affiliated, them rob. And Andrew Wallace don't want no checks and balance. So everybody know that the whole of them are rob. And Pumvaz, we say him all do investigation, him just threw himself underneath Big Mama. Him threw himself under Big Mama. Because him say when Buju make film thing and put it on social media, Him say Buju cause problem. You understand? That him say, But I see a next man I show you him thing them. And I show you how them deal with them things them in food item them in particular. Yeah. Him say a one piece of him tool missing is a grinder. And him say him not tell no lie on that. So the man transparent, but the man I show you them thing here. X amount of this, X amount of that, and see well if them rubbish the man things. How many more people are just through them to come forward and put them video out that them things get rubbish. Yeah, in a time when we should have show solidarity, sympathy and empathy to one another. The country, people them with them put in charge for run certain port are be a criminal them. And you hear Pumpas come out and say, him stand for back the government. But the assertion say people think that get missing out of the port them. No, when you go back the government, that means response to the people them. And that you tell the people them say, we no response to where we are protecting the image of Jamaica government. But everybody know Jamaica government a chopper government. Yeah, because if you don't want to do nothing with Mark Golding at them time, it shows say, you just run the thing like a lap-face dog on a one-sided basis. Yes, so no transparent now, but then nobody the fool and accountable. Yeah, Andrew like they play them type of game, yeah. And we are tell Andrew say it have to stop because we are going to hold you accountable. You understand? All we are doing, Andrew. Actually, they know how you sink yourself further in a quicksand where you're there already. Because remember, I know Jamaican people are going to hate you. I know you can't win no more election round at your party now. You can't win no more constituency round where you're there. Nobody no like you. The entire world, yeah, right now, have the saying say Jamaica government is a corrupted government. All in the UK, I hear the people I'm talking. All in the UK, yeah. Because when journalists are reporting, them report accurately, and them not say nothing what them don't know them to put out, And the voice where come from the people in Jamaica, where them go see on the ground in the suffering, is that if the government get the funding, them not go get it. It's spread, I hear it on news in the UK, yeah. So I couldn't know some of the business far and wide now, no corruption. Cause these type of natural disaster, highlight on the corruption to the world. Yeah. So you can come back from this. Yeah. Your political career over. Melissa, done your career, me I tell you. And I yield back the floor.
All right. Well said, Melton. But now let us get into more serious situation at the day as it relates to startling corruption, right? That is actually right in front of our face. And so then Andrew One is not really hiding his corruption again. He's just plain as it is. Now, when you look on the situation as it relates to Edmund Ridge, right? It appears to me that Andrew Ones is a shareholder, right? And, the possibility of Andrew Ones and Edmund Bartlett, right, have shares, right, in these entities, but not one entity. I'm going to show you and to me, when you look at it, Jamaican people, it tantamount to scamming. And the reason why I say tantamount to scamming is that for what they sold, right, those settlement for, and the cost, the real cost in building them, because the material being used are inferior material, right? And yet, Andrew Ones market this scheme personally by himself, right? And told the people, right, that they're getting value for money. And when you see the evidence in terms of what Andrew Ones sold to the people, right, no value for money, right? And, to spend such little and charge them so big, it goes tantamount to scamming. But remember that Andrew Ones is originally a scammer, so there's no surprise there. He has been into Cash Plus, he has been into Olent, right? He has been into SSL, and who suffers? The investors, right? The investors. So don't tell me that Andrew Ones did not realize that, okay, it was a scamming entity when he first into Cash Plus. And then he didn't realize it was a scamming entity when he had gone into Olent. And he didn't realize that it was a scamming entity when he gone into SSL. And he didn't realize that it was a scamming entity when he is now underway marketing. You understand? These houses, right, that they are crap. And then to show you how vicious he is, making the comparison between these homes and Operation Pride, to show you how disingenuous, cruel, and vicious this man is. Now look at this. Let us get into it. Yeah. To show you how disingenuous this man is. Right? And so then we have to put this situation as it relates to the civil engineer who involved in terms of making these homes, crazy.
So when you look at this housing development of Edmund Ridge, and you see the quality of the housing that is developed here, this is nothing like Operation Pride. I want to make that point clear. So if you compare what this government has done relative to what the previous governments have done, then you can come to the conclusion that something good a go on in a Jamaica. Because if you compare these kinds of development to Operation Pride developments, then your conclusion would be that what was happening before was Operation Shame. And it is these developments that we are doing now that is really creating communities of pride, communities in which the homeowners feel that they have a really good investment, a really respectful investment, an investment in shelter that gives them dignity. That is why we bring these to the attention of the people. Something is happening in Jamaica. Something good is happening in housing. And as you can see today, even after the setback of COVID, we are well on our way with building out affordable housing at Edmund Ridge. This administration is the difference in housing. This administration has the plan for housing, but more than that, it is this administration that can consistently deliver housing for you.
So there you have it.
So when you look at this housing development,
Andrew Holness and Edmund Bartlett, but look at the corruption, Duone, that these men are in government, and these men involved in situation like this with the Prime Minister himself. Never before, we have never seen it, where another Prime Minister in the history of Jamaica marketing, right, his own business, right, because of him and Edmund Bartlett business. You understand? Marketing his own business, tricking the Jamaican people, lying to the Jamaican people, said when you see these homes, you have quality for money. When you see these homes, right, it feels like, yes, something is going on. And this is how he pepped you up, right? Pepped you up. And then the huge charges that come that you have to pay for this in terms of what they spend and what they sell and the profit that they made for what? Garbage. Garbage. The Prime Minister is behind selling the garbage. Him and Edmund Bartlett, they're marketing these things for Jamaican people to buy. Another scam. Another scam like Cash Plus. Another scam like Olent. Another scam like SSL, but in a different way, shape, and form. Can you imagine the cruelty of this Prime Minister? Let us play the next clip. You understand? And have Mr. Floyd Morris talk to them, right? The level of cruelty that this man has done to Jamaican people. Mighty goodness. Look at this.
So I am standing here in the community where the Prime Minister had, prepared that video and said that this is the best housing development and the model that is being promoted by HAJ. And in the background, what you're seeing is actually an add-on that was taking place, that took place on a building that was constructed here, and not the actual housing units that were developed by HAJ. It's not the templates and added on to the housing development. What we are seeing elsewhere is just total destruction right around in this area where the roofs have been blown away. The drywalls in the houses compromised, collapsed, and exposed so significant rainfall, and all the furniture and fittings that the people have invested in have been destroyed. So this cannot be, Mr. Prime Minister, this cannot be Jamaica, the housing development of the future that we are promoting. It has to be a more robust, it has to be a more defined housing structure with solid roofing material that is able to withstand the vagaries of the weather. you know, and this sort of bombast and this sort of behavior is not going to help. And Prime Minister, that letter from HHA to the people is not one of the best things for a state agency at a time like this, because to just refer the residents to peril insurance without coming in to speak with the residents as to what transpired after 3 years of purchasing their houses. This cannot stand. And we urge the government to make sure that positive and realistic response to the people in Edmond Ridge. Okay, so
mighty goodness, when you look at this, the level of wickedness that Andrew Holness, right, himself was, invoke unto the people, really vicious. Now let us play the other clip, right, honey, right, to show you the length and extension of this man wickedness. Evil, right? I just will want the part Buchanan case just decided, and we just see the buck of this man, right? To be honest, right? Trust me, this man is, believe you me, yes, serious. Now look at these people. Look at.
All right, we are at the Edmond Ridge. This construction,
the material,
3-4 years ago, I understand. And as you can see, the roof has gone. And if we look further up in the distance, and I guess that's another phase. And I am looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 10 houses. And it has been totally obliterated. Every roof has gone with Melissa. Every single one of them has gone. So this lends itself that there was poor construction. Very poor construction for this.
Okay. Now, if you think that is bad, now look on the poor construction as it relates to even the road and the scheme that Andrew Holness, right, is a part of. Let us go in the same St. James. Let us go into the estuary phase 2, because people are just looking at that. Look at this one. Look at this one, people.
The road, that's the bus that's right over the broken road.
Now, my Jamaican people, when they see the Prime Minister involved in all of them something, and you look and see how the Prime Minister have involved in SSL, and how investors have been hurt, right? And you realize Darrell Vaz was the main persons who were monitoring those accounts in SSL. Several of those jail people, the level of corruption that Andrew Holness involved in. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. And so then I am saying that, when are we going to say enough is enough? Right? The Prime Minister involved in scamming after scamming after scamming after scamming after scamming after scamming after scamming, and it just doesn't stop there. The level of evil that the Prime Minister involved in, and has no sympathy, right? It doesn't. What I want to say to Jamaica, Andrew Holness doesn't have the ability to care. He's a reptile. He doesn't have the ability to care. Let me break it down for you, Jamaica. When you see I show you the clip in terms of Andrew Holness flew over ground zero, any ordinary human being that have a heart and saw the devastation, the level of devastation, that is going to move that human being that has a heart. Let me say to you, Jamaica, people went to ground zero and literally broke down and cried, can't move. The shock as the level of devastation of what they have seen. Unbelievable, unimaginable. But you have someone who leading the country, who had flown over ground zero, visited St. James, Catherine Hall, and see all what he can see. And he went into Parliament. He went into Parliament and said, per constituency, they only deserve $10 million. Let us have that sleep in our consciousness. This is what the Prime Minister is saying. GLP affected, PNP affected, and all those P's. And we are saying that we are one Jamaican. We need to put out the politics and see if this man mean us any common good. No, it's about himself and his criminality. He had stolen the election for the purpose not to build a nation, not to drive a nation forward, but to see if he can hold on to power to continue to be an obstructionist to justice. To see if he can weigh out the time to avoid prosecution. What do you think he's there? And so then you can see what he's doing. Installing his wife in the speaker's chair so that she can be another blockage of obstruction. Obstructionist. What Andrew Ones is looking for, right? He is looking for obstructionist, right? To avoid him from prosecution. Let me show you. When you see the Prime Minister move in terms of getting Dennis Chung to be in charge of FID, what you think that was for? Was for Dennis Chung to become an obstructionist. When you see the Prime Minister move in terms of giving the DPP an extension, what was the reason for that? Was for the DPP, Paula Llewellyn, to become an obstructionist. When you see the Prime Minister made an attempt now to go into the judiciary and assault the judiciary, asking the judge to eliminate the Corruption Act that deals with illicit enrichment, what he was searching for an obstructionist. When you see Andrew Holness, right, had given Glassport Brown order of distinction, what Andrew Holness is searching for an obstructionist. These are plain behavior. He's not hiding it. This desperation to the fact that he hold on to power is trying to avoid prosecution. My Jamaican people, listen to me. Andrew Ones has no care, no sympathy, no empathy. He has nothing in terms of wanting to run a country and move Jamaica as a developing country to a first world country. He has none of that. He doesn't know none of that. When you see he has moved the ODPM director and put him in his office Andrew Holness is looking an obstructionist. And these are the plain evidence. Plain as day. When you track him, his MO, modus operandi, that's all what being played out. Andrew Holness searching for obstructionists to obstruct the system of justice, to hide his corruption, and to avoid prosecution. And that's the 110% truth. Andrew Holness is searching vigorously to avoid prosecution. But I say to you, Andrew Holness, your day is coming. As it relates to the fall of Babylon, likewise your empire will fall. And all those who cling and align with you will fall. And I can guarantee you that guess what? Your days are numbered as it relates to your governance. Your days are numbered. And I heal back. Melting pot.
Yeah, man. This guy are despicable, you know. Yeah, man. This guy is a piece of shit, me I tell you. Because when you look on the man, you know, I sell him house them. Yeah? All right, sell your house now, Andrew. Because we know you and Edmund Bartlett venture that, you know. Sell it, man. But what you know to do? You know to complain of political football with Operation Pride. Yeah? And call Operation Pride Operation Shame. But me certain who say Operation Pride's houses, them roof was intact. While your Edmund Ridge thing, yeah, was in tatters. And a newly built house, them less than 5-year-old and them roof gone, and be a tarpaulin with cover them top. Because you like to play this political football, yeah? This political scandal where you ridicule, yeah, another party and its leader and use a piece of shit. Remember, you know nothing, Andrew. Remember, say you're a failure, you know. And right now, Hurricane Melissa come show say you're a double failure to the people in Jamaica. Because all you know to do is go around and run off your mouth and tell pure lie. Yeah? No, I believe, say, if you're a patriotic Jamaica, yeah, whether you're affiliated to the green or the orange, yeah, whenever you see a government do something that is of satisfactory needs to the nation, like housing, do not come and speak about it in the terms where you were ridicule Operation Pride and call it Operation Shame. What status you have to give Edmund Ridge? Because I think you'd have come out and tell us that is a disgrace. That is not shame. That is disgrace. Your housing solution where you come out and speak so eloquent about in terms of, you know, the design, the durability to stand up against hurricane. It can't even stand up against a storm. Yeah, because them that prefabricated house where you use the Chinese, them a build out. Yeah. Substandard building them there. And you sell them for a vast amount of money. You're a criminal. That is another scamming, you know. Andrew has moved from Ponzi scheme to scamming in housing real estate business. The man has scammed every aspect of Jamaica. Every aspect, the man has scammed. And we have to point it out to the people. Those houses do every worth 2 million. Those houses don't even worth 2 million. But Andrew has sell them for over 15 to 18 million. And them rooftop can't stay on. And a newly built houses. And him speak so eloquent about them. Yeah. And him ridicule Operation Pride. So Jamaican people, who know say Andrew is a 3-card guy. Andrew is a big nasty 3-card player in our society. Garbage. And everybody around him are the same like him. One of them are shit. Yeah, because them know where Andrew are going with, you know. Lollipop John him. Yeah. we went into partnership, yeah, and put out this housing solution as one of them capital venture. The two of them are shit house. The two of them are shit house because them know them are rob the people. Size 13, where him have round him as him wife. She have garbage like Andrew. Them a do the same thing. Because she build some house, you know. In a PMP here right now and I sell them for vast amount of money. We hear about it, you know. In our Kingston level 13 zone there, you know. Yeah. Because you want to capitalize by everywhere. We don't look a secret venture. But we know so I hear thing that size 13. We know about it. You understand? So yeah, your husband just a go around and I clean out the people in pocket in Jamaica. Yeah? And right now them people, I want to ask you Andrew Holness. Make sure no say Edmund Ridge houses them and for them one funding, you know. Make sure. Do not use the money we come in for the people we have them private houses. Yeah, do not use it because this is a newly commissioned scheme, you know. Where everybody see you advertise the sale of them houses there. You understand? And make sure no you give the people some assistance in establishing a roof back on them houses. Don't go into the public purse for that. This is your business. And you shortchange the people. You scam the people. I've never seen houses like them in Jamaica. Never in my wildest dream have I ever think so I would say. Those houses are what them build in the UK. And them build them stronger. Yeah, them build them stronger. Them little roof that when I say Andrew have on them house there. All a little ordinary storm could have lift them off. Ordinary storm could have lift them off. So when Andrew come out and I tell him lies, my Jamaican people, you have to start making him know so you know a lie I tell. Andrew Holness, yeah, and him administration, they only want to reap the benefit that them can get out of Jamaica. When Andrew win the election, September the 3rd, and I said it many a time, Andrew did not win the election with the impetus to govern the country and to rise the country, you know. Andrew win the election at all costs to save himself from going to prison. Yeah, because Andrew had a serious investigation. And you know, whilst you're a prime minister, you have certain protection from even outside source come for you and put you in a prison. Because Andrew mix up that big time, you know. Andrew mix up not just in a Jamaica criminality, regional and international criminality. The guy finger touch them. The guy finger touch them. Andrew have money will touch the SWIFT system. Andrew, them know everything upon him. So Andrew have to keep himself out of prison by being the prime minister. Now I know my people them suffer at the hands of Andrew Holness. Yeah, because see that the country financial state is in ruin. Can't you take out all the money out of the net reserve? The net reserve empty. Andrew can't come tell how much of the net reserve right now, you know. Him can't because I know nothing in there. And it's a result of Andrew Holness. Yeah? And in practice, why Jamaica is where it's at the moment. When you have Chinese start to build up to a houses them, you know we have a problem. So our people them not working, you know. So the economy not benefit when Chinese workers are working, you know. Our Jamaican workers supposed to do it, but they wouldn't build those houses. They would have wonder, and you don't want the Jamaican people to know where I'm going with. I said over and over. This is why I'm use Chinese. Because if you're not a part of the workforce where the Chinese man them assemble, you're not gonna know the house them ability. You're gonna see them and think a good house. Well, Jah reveal it. I'm glad how Jah reveal it, you know, because sometimes, you know, when man a plan, God wipe it out and expose it. And this is what the Almighty do to them house there, Edmund Ridge. The facts them come and them ridicule Operation Pride houses that were built under the PMP administration. Jah Almighty have to smite him. Have to smite him. So Andrew, come tell we, are you want me melting pot to tell the people them? Cause me now go make nothing pretty for you, you know. Me I just make the people them know so your house them is an embarrassment and a disgrace.
Exactly.
You call Operation Pride, Operation Shame. Them house are embarrassment and disgrace. Them house in a bill of Jamaica. And the fact that you sell them for nearly 18 million is a shame. You're a scammer. I wouldn't buy that for 2 million. No. Because when I look at it, I see that is not even a $2 million house. Yeah? Because you can take $1 million and build that. With ease. The way Andrew build it by the Chinaman them. With ease. It's a little square box it and a design to it. Where's the architectural look to those houses? Them little V-shaped roof there. And where they are UK. People want flat. So them can go on top. Because so we build house and give people start a project house. Continue on the same model. You know, see your Operation Pride House, them see up a Karachi. You know, see what them value now. Because the people them have roof for them can build pan. Your piece of shit, you. Yeah, your Chinaman, them philosophy where you rob the country. I use the Chinese them. Yeah, I bother out the Jamaican worker them. So you keep the Jamaican knowledge in a dark corner, them don't know not where I go on. But ever so often, we can take a look into your crystal ball, man, and know where I go on, man. Your crystal ball, not hide the thing them, you know. That's what you think, you know, Andrew. We can't peep into your world, man. Your world dirty, man. Yeah? Where we are look upon is a leader was supposed to be a prison and serve the rest of his life. Don't see about the sun of daylight.
Exactly.
You and your wife and many more in your party because the orchestrated assembly, you know, for rob and destroy the country, you know. All them where you see in the Labour Party, the whole of them are criminal. There's not one good one you can see in there. And say, well, that one they can pass. None of them can pass. All of them are criminal. From top to bottom. The whole of them are criminal. And if you think a lie, you just wait till end time this integrity commission thing start expanding at the way where you hear names and you see face. Yeah, you have so much of them implicated for illicit enrichment. Because the whole of them rich, you know. And them coming to politics broke. But all of them super wealthy, you know. Yeah, who have truck, have this, have that, gas station, apartment, all type of business them have. But remember, you know, the people who work harder than them in Jamaica and nothing, you know. Because most building where you see go on in Jamaica, overseas people go make them money and do them thing. You cannot work in Jamaica to build up no property. The Jamaican government does not allow you the incentive to do that because remember, you know, the labor force get a raw deal in Jamaica. The wages is meager, miserly sum when it comes to allowances and the salary packet should. Yeah, we not get nothing out there. So most of them development we see, a little man go on with it. Him go on farmer, him save the money in bill. Him get an opportunity or him son them or him daughter them send money come bill. And the government really build up, and the labor government build Jamaica, you know. People's National Party build Jamaica, everybody know that. The best houses them are built for poor people. Build under the Michael Manley and the People's National Party administration. Parties to come and enhance it. And Porsche come and rub and stamp it.
All right.
But this piece of shit you come and want challenge Porsche administration with Operation Pride. Yeah. And come call it Operation Shame. When the house them stand up and them value increase. And you're one of them will just build when the roof them gone. And the people them place flood out. You build Ripon Tower, the same thing. Everything you build flood. You build police station, it flood out. Yeah. And everywhere you go, it's just a wave of destruction you leave behind you, Andrew. And Jamaica people don't have to realize. Yeah. Just like in the olden days what the Bible said. You cannot have a Pharaoh lead you. And Andrew is a Pharaoh. And he must go. And I yield back the floor.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. My brother Pot, you understand? Hempting down the hammer. No, we cannot leave the show and we don't feature, right, the seriousness, right, that, you know, we are looking to as it relates to a pending health crisis. Let me say Jamaica, a pending health crisis as a result of Andrew owners who fail to collaborate with the government, right, and make meaningful policies, right, and work in tandem. As a result of not doing that, we have seen the situation have gone out of hand, right? And trust me, it is hell to pay. Now, this situation, right, is going to affect the the workplace. And so then when we look in terms of trying to, you know, make the economy up and running, right, we are going to have some, you know, issues to deal with. And the faster that, you know, you move in terms of collaborating, join hands with the opposition and stop the politicking, right, it is as soon as we are going to get the necessary help. And what we are here saying that it is time that Andrew owners put the politics out of the room, right, and work in tandem with the opposition. And let me say this. The opposition have some brilliant minds, and it only take the government to absorb, right, in terms of, you know, those brilliant minds and utilize them, right. It's one Jamaica. It's one Jamaica. And we are all Jamaicans. Put the politics aside. The campaign finished. The election over. You understand? We are facing a disaster. And people are suffering. As we speak, right, regardless of Steve Delano Seabright claiming that, you understand, 90% of road access, the government have it. You still have people, right, in certain places, in remote places, right, that have not been reached. The Prime Minister claimed that some of these places are not on the map. Well, I don't know, right? But some of these places are not how would you term that? Geographically pinned, right? Some of these locations are not geographically pinned. And so then they cannot be, you know, readily accessible because they are not even, right, on a situation to be found. So it is, right, serious situation. Melting Pot spoken about it as it relates to the 90% of road that so-called finish. You understand? Some areas filled with mud, filled with debris, and oh my God, right? And as you know, the lie being told, right, as it relates to the 90% access, and then if there's a 90% access, why we have so many people, right, are not able to get the aid. But let us look what is threatening to us, you understand, which is going to be very serious. And right now, the truth be told, we honestly don't know the death toll. If you notice Jamaica, let me talk to you. The Prime Minister, remember, you're dealing with Andrew Holness who like to suppress information, you know. Zara Burton and active journalists having problem as it relates to ATI, access to information. This government suppress it, lock it, and come out with fake figures. Coming out with it is just not good for the country. It is just, you want a government that is transparent. Tell us what is happening. Tell us the truth. And then, is he so scared of being critiqued? Because he wants to hold on to power, you know? Because he knows that the day that he gets out of power, it's going to be a problem. Paul Buchanan, I love how you're putting on the pressure. Right? Because let me say this to you, Jamaica. Let me say this to you. From all indications that I'm looking on, as it relates to that pending case with Paul Buchanan, right? And looking on the Roper Act, let me say this. Let me come out and say this. I really don't see how Paul Buchanan is going to lose this case. I try every angle to think out of my brain as it relates to the possibility of Paul Buchanan losing this case. And trust me, I don't see it. I don't see it. No, I know very well, you know, when I was a policeman, you know, right? And I am making case through the court. I try to dot all the I's and cross all the T's. And under my history, you understand? I mean, all the cases that I have dealt with, right, successful because of how meticulous I was, very careful. And when I look, right, I am not a lawyer, right? My faculty is in criminal justice. So I just touch basic laws. I touch basic laws. So I can speak, right? When I look, right, and all the variables, the possibilities where Paul Buchanan, you understand, is going to lose this case, I honestly don't see it at all. What am I saying? I'm saying I'm looking forward, right, that the case is going to rule in the favor of Paul Buchanan. What I'm asking that, okay, when this happened, and if Andrew Holness, right, as it relates to what hung over his head, I am asking Jamaican people, some of those who are talking and sending threat and all sort of things, does it worth it in terms of the political violence? Remember, you know, Andrew Holness had stolen the election and the People's National Party conceded. I want for you to see the example that Mark Golding set, you know. And I even want to go beyond Mark Golding and go to Portia Simpson as it relates to when Andrew Holness so-called won the election. What Portia Simpson done? Conceded. Did we have any violence? No. Andrew Holness again so-called won the election, right? September, right? 2025. What Mark Golding done? Conceded. If you want to even go back to PJ Patterson, what PJ Patterson done? Conceded. Nobody go down to 1980 because you don't know say 1980 a Seaga GLP and you know them terrible and tan. You understand? So that's where the problem lies. But if you know the People's National Party, very disciplined, and when an election call, in spite of do we believe whether the election stolen, yes or no, the People's National Party is always a disciplined party, always make sure say them follow the laws, right, being obedient, and that is the culture that Mark Golding is extended on, and we love Mark Golding for that, right? Conceded, you understand? No violence. We avoid violence because what we do, we think about people, we care about people's lives, and we know that, okay, in spite of your political affiliation, right, if you lose, it doesn't tantamount for you to lose your life. And so then when we think about these things, right, as Manleyites, right, we know very well that we are expecting that if when that time happen as it relates to, I think it's next month, before the 8th of next month. Yes, we are saying, Andrew Holness, look on all, let me talk to you from now in Andrew Holness. Look on all the examples being set by the People's National Party leaders that no violence, we concede, all conceded, and I hope that you are going to have the will to concede. Jamaican, let me talk to you. Andrew Holness rotten rich He's so rotten rich that him can't even explain it. Him is so rich that him can't even explain it. And remember, people, it is not like Integrity Commission investigators really covering all of Andrew Holness' assets. Because many of those assets that Integrity Commission investigators don't even know about. Don't even know about. Right? So then, let us just juggle and let us warn our Jamaican people. Say, you see it? We can see it, you know. I hope when that time comes, we are looking for a similar concession, you know. We are looking for peace to be maintained. We have seen that even in Andrew Holness' own party, when he has that internal election with why name again the melting pot?
Manayard.
With Manayard.
Adli Shah.
With Adli Shah. You have seen what Adli Shah said about him, you know. What Adli Shah said about Andrew Holness was true, you know. Adli Shah said he's not supposed to be the Prime Minister.
The leader.
He's not supposed to be the leader.
Mm-hmm.
Because he is displaying violence. Use X amount of people, you understand, to overrun the man campaign.
7 bus load.
7 bus load. To show you, you know, this man, I keep on telling Jamaica, me here upon a press conference, you know, not talk about people who hate him. Nobody not hate Andrew Holness. We are calling out to evil. We are calling out to evil. Because let me say this to your face, Andrew Holness. You are 100% pure evil. And you need a political exorcism. I am telling you that. Right? And I'm glad that we find a political exorcist, which is Paul Buchanan. So if you are Christopher Lee, Paul Buchanan, and Peter Cushing, he is the political exorcist. And he is going to perform an exorcism next month. And he's going to dismiss the evil that take over Parliament and take over our people psychological stance. So anyway, Paul Buchanan is, yell him up for me as the political exorcist. And we are anticipating the political exorcism in December. Let us just get into our concerns that we have. Yes, let us talk about clear and secure and health thing, right? Quickly go through this, and then we have melting pot close us off, right? Because you know, say forward for the Titans, people. You know, so we're coming on for the Titans. You understand? Right? Bringing the hammer, sledge, right?
Ministry of Health is reporting 11 suspected cases of leptospirosis. Health officials are now stepping up disease surveillance as a precaution. The announcement was made at a press briefing Sunday.
The suspected cases have been detected in 3 of the 4 hardest hit parishes in Western Jamaica. National epidemiologist Dr. Karen Webster Carr provided the update on the situation during a press briefing on Sunday.
We are seeing an increase in leptospirosis post-Melissa 2 weeks after. So far, we have 11 cases that have been classified as leptospirosis based on the symptoms. So we may have gotten additional notification, but when we look at
2 weeks ago,
what the person
2 weeks ago, 11 cases, right, of leptospirosis, right, and we know that the spread is on, right, and continue to be spreading. The next clip on it, because we are running through, because we have to come up for Titans, and yes, let us bring up that there. And let us hear what the doctors them have to say about leptospirosis. We don't want to hear what a makeshift doctor, a real doctor we are talking about. Go ahead, Oni.
So have the disposal of human waste, right? So some of these persons, I'm not quite sure where they're disposing their waste at this point in time. Then you have dead animals that if we don't deal with that situation, right? You're trying to bury them, but then I don't want none of the pet lovers to say anything. You might have to burn some of them just to try and get rid of the carcass out of the space so that it doesn't become a host for some vector, some disease-causing agent. So there are going to be a lot of concerns. And I'm saying this is ground zero. This is a place where we've had more than 50% of the deaths if we do not get urgent attention. And I'm not being an alarmist. I keep saying to persons, if you do not believe me, if you think that I'm just on a soapbox making noise and pontificating, just come and have a look. I'm not trying to get people to overwhelm the space who are not doing anything in the space, right? To cause the traffic to be bad. But I'm saying, if you don't believe me, take a look at it. It is really that bad. You also have...
All right. Let us hear from another doctor, from a doctor to another doctor perspective. Not only one doctor, but from another doctor to another doctor perspective. Let us go.
We are only hours away from Hurricane Melissa making landfall as a dangerous Category 5 hurricane. With all of the predictions about its destructive force, we have to remember that the #1 priority is your health. Your first order of business is to survive the storm. If you're in a flood-prone area, a low-lying area, please seek shelter elsewhere before it is too late. After the hurricane has passed, we can expect an increase in the number of injuries that we will see as a result of debris and fleeing the storm itself. Ensure that you have a well-stocked first aid kit and be familiar with ways you can stop bleeding and apply dressings. Persons with chronic non-communicable diseases such as high blood pressure and diabetes, you can expect that there will be a worsening of your condition. High blood pressure is common in Jamaica. About 1/3 of Jamaicans have high blood pressure. Ensure that you have at least a week's supply of medication. Take your medication on time, and if you are able to do so, monitor your blood pressure. Similarly, for diabetes, ensure that you take your medication, and if you can monitor, please monitor your blood sugar levels. If you have insulin, ensure that you have an insulated container such as an igloo where you can get ice to store it just in case we lose electricity for a prolonged period of time. This goes for other medications that must be kept on ice. Overall, we're expecting an increase in mosquitoes, and as a result of that, we may have an outbreak of dengue. We may also see an increase in the rat population and see an increase in leptospirosis cases. We have to protect our water sources and our food sources. Diarrhea may also be very common, gastroenteritis, after the passage of the hurricane.
Jamaica,
look out for all of these conditions.
Why do you think I play that clip? Jamaica, there's something that you need to observe. That prior to landfall, Dr. Dawes has outlined, right, all these potentials prior to landfall. We are talking about the proactiveness, the level of awareness that before the landfall, Dr. Dawes was talking about the potential of leptospirosis and the increase and what needs to be done. So when I saw that clip and I said, whoa, Dr. Dawes is not reacting to a situation because leptospirosis existed, and so then he's making comment, right, as you go along, as it relates to Christopher Tufton. And if you go back before the landfall of Melissa, Christopher Tufton have no idea of speaking on these issues. You see the reason why I play the clip? But before landfall, Dr. Dawes, and everything that he said then happening now. Everything that he said then happening now. What we call that? That sort of proactiveness, that sort of experience, that sort of knowledge. Is a real doctor. And this is who we want to represent us. No, Melting Pot, take us out.
Yes, and you know, as you rightly said, yeah, Dr. Dawes is currently the shadow minister in the Ministry of Health. And he made that comments. I think it was on the 3rd of November. He was speaking, and a guy get up and say, politics time over. A guy who take 85 million and buy a piece of burger from McDonald's. You understand? And so we know, rightfully as you say, yeah, the People's National Party is a proactive government in waiting. You understand? It's a proactive government in waiting. Because what you see with the People's National Party, member of parliament, they are acting in the responsible role as what the government should be doing. You understand? And so, Jamaican people must take heart from what Dr. Dawes said and the reality of it being happening now simply show that Dr. Dawes has the experience and the knowledge and also have the expertise in dealing with these crises. Where Tufton is concerned, is a PhD, Dr. That. Is a PhD. You understand? And so you cannot get knowledge from a PhD guy because that guy is not qualified. And when you look at the CEO in the Ministry of Health, Miss Jacqueline Bisiesa Mackenzie, she also needs to be held accountable because she should have been in collaboration with the PhD doctor who head the ministry, yeah, and say in accordance to what the eventuality, yeah, will bring to Jamaica if the medical fraternity does not act in accordance with this type of catastrophe. Because when you have dead animal and people and standing water, yeah, you can't, as a country, you have to know so well then, is your country in a situation? No, you won't be getting any help from WHO, which is the World Health Organization, because it's not a pandemic, it's an epidemic, and it affects you. So you have to move as a government, as a man in charge of the ministry. You have to work with your prime minister and collaborate wisely and stop on a PR. Exactly. Because when Dr. Alfred Dawes, yeah, raise the suggestion and put it out there, warning the government that if they do not act swiftly and act with real intensity, then we're going to have epidemic outbreak with leptospirosis, cholera, dengue fever, and all malaria disease. You understand? And them take it for a political spectrum. A guy run out upon Dr. Alfred Dawes and say, politics time over. Now who is playing politics? Exactly. Or who is being a piece of shit? Yeah, because certainly Tufton is playing politics And the end result, Tough Tongue is a piece of shit. Tough Tongue shouldn't be the man in charge of Ministry of Health based on him track record. Tough Tongue should have been relief of that post. The whole debacle surrounding Beryllium Hospital, yeah, should be cause for concern that Tough Tongue does not go nowhere near the health sector. Yeah. And so we know for a fact that with Tough Tongue in charge of the Ministry of Health, a lot of our people is going to die. Because there is no contingency plan.
Perfectly right.
That Tough Tongue have in place, yeah, to roll out to contain the spread of all these epidemic diseases that come in Jamaica with. There is no testing, no screening, nothing. Not even tablets to put in the water where the people them have. Yeah? Not even that. Where is this guy? Where is this PR guru? Because he's a PR guru. We haven't heard him. We haven't seen him. Him gone in hiding. So we are calling out the piece of shit with a PhD doctorate degree. You need to step up and show your face. Because a lot of medical supply come in, you know. A lot of medical supply come in. And if medical supply don't come in, you as the man in charge of the Ministry of Health, you must source the medical supply that you know you need right now to contain the spread of any outbreak in Jamaica. Yeah? But you are somewhere relaxing, somewhere hibernating, while the people are out there suffering. Yeah? And so we ask for your resignation because you have failed miserable as the man in charge of the health sector. We also ask for the resignation of Miss Jacqueline Bisiesa Mackenzie, who is the CEO. Yeah? Because you should have, on the back of what Christopher Tough Tongue did in opposing Dr. Alfred Dawes, you as the CEO should have come out and rebuke Tough Tongue and make clarity and part of the ministry as to what you have in plan in regards to the eventuality of an epidemic outbreak in Jamaica. But it's only after the thing now start to show that it exists, we are hearing from you nastiness. Yeah, and that's what I have to label all I want to. Nastiness, garbage, PRists, propagandists. Well, there's nothing but a bunch of vigilante. And I yield back the floor, my brother.
All right. So, my people, there we have it. For today, we want to say big thanks, right, to come out as usual, right, taking the vibes with Melting Pot, right, and Mystic Sensation, and of course, Wifey, right. We are so much happy, right, for the support. We want to say big thanks for the support. And forward, as it relates to Titans, right? Melting Pot, you understand? And we will be there, right? Melting Pot will be carrying the sledge.
10-ton sledge will come out tonight.
All right.
Yes.
I will be carrying
I have to part the 5-ton one, I know. That now knock down the thing now, I wanted to knock it down.
Yeah, I'll be carrying the axe, you understand? You know that Lonesome will carry will be carrying as much as he can
carry. Whole stack pack of hammer. A whole stack pack of hammer. And I hear him straight out the one with the bend with you.
Okay, as what Melton Pot said, the hammers that were bent, Lonesome shooting them out. So we're going to deal with that. All right, so this is what you are saying. Melting Pot, always big up, respect.
Blessings, right? My brother.
All right, I am out. Jamaica, love you. Blessings.
I know why you come to me with that foolishness, you know. You elect a prime minister, and he's a prime minister around the country. It is time we learn to hold our leaders accountable for their actions and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses. Otherwise, go elect the people who really run in the country. And I don't want the right kind of stupid argument. Hold the people you elect accountable and stop making excuses for them.